So, as most of you guys know, like the CrossFit game or CrossFit company has completely revamped the way they're going to be doing um, the games in essence, and it's really bad for CrossFitters as a whole. From what I understand, and I've looked this up and I've listened to the best minds in the business about it. They're basically saying that for every country gets their fittest male, their fittest female, and then their fittest team. I'm uncertain as to whether or not they're even going to continue to do masters and kids, but this is for at least for male, female, individual, and teams. And I didn't say teams a minute ago. I said teens, like kids CrossFit games. But anyway, so that's really going to screw a lot of people over, especially here in America, where we've got arguably between America and a lot of some of the Icelandic competitors, the strongest, best competitors in the world. Um, Subsequently, and I'm not sure if this took place as a result of CrossFit making these changes. I mean, for crying out loud, they're not even gonna have regionals anymore. Like that was my dream. Like I always kind of saw myself as like I think I could make it to regionals if I really dedicated myself to CrossFit and maybe even to possibly the games. Once I have no illusion that people been doing this for 10 years now that are highly competitive athletes. I have no illusion that I would be a competitive games athletes by any means, but I definitely think I could be a regionals. So they're doing away with regionals. Their Open's going to start running in the fall now, and again, so each country gets their fittest male, fittest female, and best team, or fittest team to compete with. So, and then as a back to what I was saying, as a result of that, I'm not entirely sure, but there are now business dealings where they're trying to incorporate the Wodapalooza events, the Granite Games, and something in total of like 16 events year round to be able to qualify and compete in the CrossFit Games as, again, individual male, individual female, and teams. Um, Here's what I personally think. I think CrossFit did this under the assumption that bigger companies like Granite, the companies that sort of compete with them, so to speak, like Granite Games and things of that nature, and other big opportunity CrossFit shows across the nation and the world, um, that they would fall in line. My thought is if you guys haven't sold out already to CrossFit, I would not. They screwed up, and they know they screwed up bad. What I would do if I was the CEO of Granite Games is I would turn around and I would do what CrossFit was doing because it was great and a lot of people loved it and it worked out really well and it's way better than the format from what I'm understanding reading on paper. I haven't seen it ran yet because we won't see it ran until next year, or well, technically it'll be next fall will be the first open of this type. But anyway, so we haven't seen it ran yet, and it'll be almost a year and a half, 2 years till we see how this starts really flowing through. But on paper, it looks bad. It doesn't look good. So if another company did the same format or had the means to do the same format of the games that we know of, y'all would probably overtake CrossFit. It would probably happen pretty quickly too, because people are not loyal to a brand, they're loyal to an idea. And when that idea starts screwing those people over, and you're talking about monetary losses and athletes that have worked their butts off for years to potentially go to the games, and now they're just because I live in the US and Matt Frazier lives here, you have no chance of going to the games, basically, or even regionals now. So a lot of people are going to be really irritated about that. Companies are not going to want to sponsor people that aren't on TV, that aren't getting FaceTime, that aren't, so a lot of athletes are going to take some serious monetary damage from this. And they're not loyal to brand. They are loyal to the people that are loyal to them. Like, you can go lift a barbell with any brand on your back. Doesn't matter. It's my personal 2 cents. I think you guys would be making a mistake if you completely sold out to the CrossFit model and just went along to get along. Another reason I think, and I'm just going to go ahead and say it, I don't think any of these guys are natural, or girls for that matter. And from what I understand, I looked this up, their requirement for testing, of course, they don't even start testing until after regionals because they got to know who's going to the games. Like, how are they going to test 178,000 people that sign up for the Open, and then, several hundred, if not a couple thousand people that make it to regionals across the world? It doesn't make any sense. They can't financially test those people for PEDS. However, if I'm not mistaken, their minimum requirement is 10% of athletes get tested, almost like just about every other sports agency, organization, NFL, NBA, UFC, stuff like that. They do about 10% testing. So from what I understand, and obviously CrossFit kept this pretty hush-hush because I had to go do some digging to find this, they had 9 athletes that were removed for banned substances of some type from this previous year's games. If they drag this out and you don't even know who's going to the games until the 16th event, whatever they work it out to be, because regionals doesn't exist anymore, that's a lot of room for guys and girls to be able to do whatever they want to do in their off season. So back to what I was saying, apparently 9 athletes got pulled from the games this past year. Some people were happy about this. Some people were very upset. Some people got to go to the games that never got to go before. But if you base that off of their numbers, that 10% of male, they test an average of 10% of their male and female athletes, and 9 people out of 80, 40 male, 40 female, didn't make the cut. That means that potentially every single person that they tested failed. Just food for thought. Trying to protect their athletes, and then they screwed up their business model in the process. And it's going to be way worse financially, I think. But hey, who am I?